schedule, which gave them time to think about the last time they faced the Halos. Armed with the best 1-2-3 pitching combo in the league, the Royals were in first place. But a wild throw to second base and a game-saving catch in center field, and the Royals haven't been the same since. Now they meet again in a doubleheader today on Fox Sports Kansas City. The good news for Billy Butler in his last game, 4 hits, getting his average closer to 300. But the bad news for the Royals, none of those hits came with runners in scoring position. After a rainout last night, we've got an afternoon and evening full of baseball for you tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City, a doubleheader between the Royals and the Angels. And welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. I'm Ryan Lefevre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. And the Royals are happy to see the Rays out of town with the way they're playing right now, but a first-place team is in town now in the Angels, and they play a lot like the Rays do.
They play a lot like the Rays, Ryan, but a little bit more aggressive. The Angels come at you. They put a lot of pressure on the infielders, the outfielders, and on the pitchers. So when the Angels come to town, you know the game's automatically going to speed up. So the Royals are going to have to speed up with them, but speed up with them in a way that they don't make mistakes.
Not only a first-place team in the Angels, but a first-place team that is as hot as their team color. 23-9 since June the 12th. That's the best in the league. They're scoring almost 7 runs a game since that mark and hitting about 300 as a team. This with several key players on the disabled list, but other guys picking up the slack.
Well, Sean Figgin is one of those guys. He steals bases, plays excellent defense. He's a switch hitter, Ryan. He knows how to play the game. He knows when to swing the bat. He bunts the ball very well. So he's one of those guys that really plays to the situation that's presented in front of him. Bobby Abreu is a right fielder. He gets big hits for the team. His home run numbers are down this year. But in talking to the guys, he's a pro on the bench that really keeps this team together with Guerrero and Hunter out of the lineup.
Yeah, we say key guys out. We mean key guys out, like Torrey Hunter, who always plays well against the Royals, no matter what uniform he's wearing. He's out with a right side injury. Vladimir Guerrero on the disabled list for the second time this year. First with a chest muscle, now a knee and a hamstring. So the Royals don't have to worry about them in this series. But it's still going to be a heavy lift for Sidney Ponson facing these Angels. His first start against the Angels this year and his first start since coming off the disabled list. Hearty soups, hand-tossed salads, inventive sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. Well, no game because of the rain out last night. That might have been good for the bullpen because they had a devil of a time in the weekend series against Tampa Bay. Another day to put that behind them. In the 3 games, 8 2/3 innings pitched by 6 pitchers, 9 runs allowed, 8 earned, including 8 walks. And hopefully tonight, Sidney Ponson can go deep into the game, take some pressure off of the bullpen. Here's the Kia pitching report. And for his game, Frank, is this a good matchup for him?
This could be a good matchup for him, Ryan, if he keeps the ball down and throws first pitch strikes and works both sides of the plate. The Angels really like to get on base and like to put pressure on the pitcher, but you don't want to add to that by walking these guys. So you want to keep the ball down, first pitch strike, let him put the ball in play, and let the defense help him.
Here is that lineup he'll face, presented by M&I Bank, and some of the players that are filling in for the injured Angels. The designated hitter is Mike Napoli, so 2 catchers in the lineup today with Guerrero on the disabled list. Gary Matthews Jr. is in center field. Reggie Willett's batting 9th in left field, which is recently called up from the minor leagues. Now, David DeJesus really swinging the bat well. This goes back to before the All-Star break, but he lost a 6-game hitting streak on Sunday against Tampa Bay. Maybe he'll get a new one started tonight. He's a .313 hitter against the Angels. Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Mike Scioscia in his 10th year as Angels manager, and during this past offseason got a 10-year contract extension. How many managers get that these days? His team in first place coming into this doubleheader. And it'll be Sean Figgins, Myceres Turris, and Bobby Abreu against Sidney Ponson, making his first pitch since coming back from the disabled list, and on target to Figgins. Figgins leading the league in runs scored, which is the most important stat for a leadoff man. No balls, 2 strikes. He had a great series against the Royals back in early May, but not necessarily with the bat. He was great on defense. He was 0 for 10 at the plate, but he had a key sac fly and a key sac bunt. And the sac fly was the game-winning RBI in that 1-0 win over the Royals. Joe Saunders beating Zach Greinke, and then his sac bunt led to was the game-winning RBI in Game 3. How about that? 2 game-winning RBIs. You go 0 for 10.
Well, that's the kind of baseball that he plays, and he pretty much looks at what the defense is giving him, and he tries to take advantage of it. So that's what makes him so dangerous in those situations where that's with a runner on second, nobody out.
Pretty good movement on that fastball. Ponson strikes out Figgins. 1 down. Well, the sky would suggest that it's going to rain any moment. It's very dark and gray, but they say all the rain is gone. 74 degrees at first pitch. At 4:10, brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. Myceres Turris at second base for the Angels. Howie Kendrick has been sent to the minor leagues and been recalled by the Angels, but no longer the everyday second baseman. It's it hard to Tien, who's at first base, to the bag, and 2 down. Well, Mark Tien getting his first start at first base this year. He's played an inning at first, shifting over from third base to Jesus, Bloomquist, and Guillen in the outfield. Alex Gordon back in the lineup at third with Betancourt and Callaspo up the middle. Tien's at first, Miguel Olivo catching for Ponson. And now the Angels' hottest hitter, Bobby Abreu.
When I talked to Mark about playing first base for the first time, and he said the only thing that he's concerned about is the ball to his right, knowing what balls to go for and what balls not to go for. And so I said, well, are you going to play off as far as they played Billy to cut that distance down? So now you just have to worry about going to first base. He said maybe not quite as far off the bag, but it's just going to be a read that he needs to communicate with Callaspo on.
2-1 on Abreu. Well, we'll see how this plays out, because Tien can play third base and first base. Alex Gordon can play both positions. Three and one to Abreu.
Well, Alex, I talked to him, and he seems to feel that I asked him about, playing back-to-back games, and he said, the way it is right now, I'm more concerned about the fact that I haven't been able to stay healthy. And I want to do whatever I can to stay healthy and get back to being the player, that I was, say, in Double-A, where we had a great year, with injury-free. And he said the injuries are really something that really bothered him. So he said with Mark being able to play third, he said he's okay with the whatever plan they want to use as far as the rest of the season goes.
Hit hard to left to Jesus. Back to in front of the track, and a good return for Sidney Ponson. Gets the Angels in order in the first. against Urban Santana with this lineup presented by M&I Bank. Billy Butler is the DH. Mark Teahan at first base. And batting in the 4th position, Jose Guillen was going to be the DH last night because of a sore ankle, but he'll be in right with Alex Gordon back in there. Callaspo, Olivo, and Betancourt rounding out the batting order. Facing Urban Santana, here's the Kia scouting report.
Well, Ryan, he's strong on the road, and he's got a great fastball, great slider. And I think that they Jesus and Teahan both with a 357 average. That's a good advantage for the Royals today.
Strong on the road is something new for Urban Santana. He began his major league career 1-10 away from Anaheim. One and 1 to DeJesus. 4 hits in the Tampa Bay series, but hitless on Sunday, snapping a 6-game hitting streak. Had 3 RBIs in that series. And that's hit hard to left field. Willits shallow. The wind knocked it down. An awkward play by Willits, but makes the play. And the wind coming in out of the north-northwest. That's a crosswind from left to right and really knocked down that DeJesus drive. Let's find Joel Goldberg.
About sort of mapping out this doubleheader, and he really doesn't plan on playing Alex back-to-back games of a doubleheader at this point. Also really thinks that he needs to get Joakim Soria into one of these 2 games. The trick ends up being which one. He doesn't want him to not play at all because he hasn't been used a whole lot. And as far as if Soria could play both games, he said that would be a little bit touchy. But if he threw 9 to 12 pitches, 1, 2, 3 in the 9th, maybe he could come back for the 2nd inning, but he'd really have to feel good, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. 0-2 on Willie Bloomquist. Well, the Royals are going to try and win every game they can, just like every other team is going to. But right now, with the Royals with 17 games below 500, they're not conceding anything. But at the same time, how much do you want to risk re-injuring Joakim Soria? As Bloomquist is down on 3 pitches, 2 down in the 1st inning.
Well, Ryan, I think you just have to make sure he gets his work. I think that's the #1 thing. And, you know, he's going so long in between throwing. I think that's really one of the things you have to worry about is how fast can you get him in? What kind of is he on a regular routine? And right now he's not on a good routine.
2 down to Billy Butler. Now, who knows? Things might be different if the Royals at this point were 17 games above 500 and you've got Detroit and Chicago and Minnesota breathing down your neck, and every single game could be the difference between whether you stay in first place or not.
And they're going to have to better the 8th inning. The 8th inning is really the thing that's going to determine how much Joakim Soria get to pitch. So if they can't figure out the 8th inning, then you may have to bring him in the 8th inning at time just so he can get his work.
Not a good night to hit the ball in the air. Butler hits it hard. He's out, and the Royals down in order in the 1st. By Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Taco Bell, try the new bacon cheesy potato burrito. It's big bacon taste, guys can't resist. With a look inside the Royals Hall of Fame, and there's Frank White with a mustache.
You think I'm firing somebody up in there? I didn't see him jumping up and down, listen to my speech.
But they might go home and grow a mustache.
No, I never did grow a good one. Trey's got the mustache. You know, that's a mustache. Mine was that thing you get at 18 and you don't want to let go. That's a mustache.
And Trey can grow facial hair faster than anybody in the history of the planet. He could shave that tomorrow and by Thursday have a brand new one. Good pitch in on the hands of Morales. And Betancourt brings it down. Kendry Morales with an 18-game hitting streak coming in today. Both games of the doubleheader today. Game 2 about 30 minutes after Game 1, but no sooner than the regularly scheduled 7:10. It'll be Bruce Chen for the Royals and Sean O'Sullivan for the Angels. O'Sullivan was supposed to pitch Game 1 against Ponson, but they flipped O'Sullivan and Santana. Good pitch on the outside to Mike Napoli. Oh, 0-2.
Yeah, Mike Napoli's one of those guys, Ryan, you really need to keep the ball down on. He likes the ball up out over the plate. Has good power to right center field. And Sidney's done a great job so far of keeping the ball down.
Ponson on the DL on the 2nd of June with an elbow injury. He had a relief appearance against the White Sox, gave up 4 runs in the 3rd of an inning. And he loses Napoli with the count 1-2. And the Angels have a runner at first with 1 out. Ponson started the year in the Royals rotation and was doing a serviceable job. Didn't get a whole lot of run support. He turned in his best start of the year on May the 6th against the Mariners, and then was replaced in the rotation by Luke Hochevar. Ponson moved to the bullpen where he had a bad time, an ERA of almost 13 in 5 bullpen appearances, and then the trip to the DL. 0-1 to Eric Ibar. Frank, Ibar is one of 6 switch hitters in the lineup for the Angels. 6.
And that's all throughout the organization. I managed to get some in Double-A. When they won the championship, they had 6 switch hitters in the lineup. So it's something that they say it's not by design. They've just been fortunate that way.
Just over the glove of Betancourt. So 2 base hits to left field, and the Angels with 2 on, 1 out.
This is a ball that looked like hit it right on the fat part of the bat, and the bat broke. Had a good swing on it. Betancourt did everything he could to make this catch, but I tell you, that ball just floating away from him. I think that's the big thing, being a left-handed hitter, just kept going away. But you can see where that ball hit the bat. And Singer hit a good part of the bat on a good spot of the bat. The bat still snapped in half. I guess it goes back to what we talked about in spring training. We haven't dogged the bat so far this year, but those maple bats.
And that's hit hard through the right side. Napoli is going to be waved home, and Guillen with the good arm couldn't come up with it cleanly. The Angels take a 1-0 lead. Matthews drives in his 27th. Well, you got a catcher who's the DH running in Guillen's arm. That would have been interesting at home plate.
That ball's hit hard too, Ryan. That would have given a good opportunity to make a good throw. But when you don't make the play, then you really can't gauge that distance. But right here, even if he gets this ball and makes a good throw, he's going to have to make sure he keeps the ball down, because the Angels really look to take the extra base. Well, Guillen really just didn't get his glove open. He kept it to the side.
One thing at a time. Catch the ball, then throw the ball.
Yeah, you lift your head too soon, and they just pull you right off the ball. It's just like when you turn your head too soon.
How about this? A suicide squeeze with 1 out in the second inning. And Jeff Mathis gets it down. Ibar scores. It's 2-0. And that is Angels baseball.
That's Mike Socha. You just don't know exactly what he's going to do. And when you look at the fact that Mathis is only hitting 193, then Mike Socha is going to make him valuable. And the way you make a guy that's not swinging the bat valuable is you make him bunt in situations that can help the ball club. And that was outstanding right there.
Not to mention you have a catcher, and with runners at first and third, could easily ground into a double play and end the inning. And if the goal is to get the run home by any means possible, that was a pretty good alternative.
Well, he does a great job. And that's one thing about Mike Socha's ball club. He doesn't pay attention to baseball protocol or anything like that. He runs his game, and he runs it in an unconventional fashion. So that's why when you play the Angels, you really have to have your A game. You really have to be on your toes and ready to play the game.
And think about it. You know Sidney Ponsone's going to be around the plate. He's not an overpowering guy, so I would think he'd be a pretty easy guy to bunt. And you got to figure the Royals aren't going to be ready for that. I mean, who's going to be ready for a suicide squeeze with 1 out in the second inning?
Well, I think that's what you have to look at. Your advanced scout. Your advanced scout has got to give you as much information as possible going into the game against the Angels, things that you really don't normally see, and that's what Mike Socha brings to the table.
Two and one to Reggie Willits, who's getting some playing time because another Angels outfielder, Juan Rivera, has a bad hamstring. He's not on the disabled list, but out of the lineup.
And Willis is another guy that can run. He runs like a deer, and he can also bunt. He'll bunt at any time. He's a switch hitter and plays good outfield.
3-1 on Willits. Willits got his first major league hit and his first major league RBI right here at Kauffman Stadium in 2006. Chokes way up on the bat and lines it into center field, and the Angels are going to take a 3-0 lead. Well, a harmless beginning with Morales popping out to short, and then Ibar, 2 batters later, just barely got one over Betancourt's glove at shortstop, and the Angels have turned that into 3.
Well, this is a pitch that Ponson left up in the zone, and we said you got to pitch down because these guys, they just try to hit the ball the other way. They slap the ball, and you just got to pitch the ball down and hope they roll over and hit some ground balls. But Willis went right with that high fastball and hit a line drive to left field, and Gary Matthews Jr. scored.
And now Figgins struck out swinging last inning. Willits hasn't been with the Angels for very long. He's playing in his 17th game, but he has very good speed. He has already swiped 3, and this is a running situation with the leadoff man at the plate and 2 outs. Angels second only to the Tampa Bay Rays in stolen bases this year. Easy for Guillen in right field. Inning over. Angels come up with 3 runs on 4 singles. Here's today's You Call It, presented by Sprint. What city will see a crosstown World Series this year? Ball 1-2. Mark Teahen. White Sox and Cubs are both in second place. White Sox a game back, the Cubs 2 games back. The Cubs have been a huge disappointment. Teahen drives it into deep left. Long run Willits. Teahen off the top of the fence. So down by 3. Good start for the Royals. Teahen with a leadoff double. The Los Angeles teams are both in first place. The Angels 2.5 in front of Texas. The Dodgers 8 in front of Colorado. Yankees and Red Sox tied for first in the East, and the Mets have been a huge disappointment in the National League. They're 9 games back. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals followed by a space. A, Chicago. B, Los Angeles. Or C, New York. Standard text rates apply. Now former Angel Jose Guillen held to without an RBI during the Tampa Bay series, scored a couple of runs. Chased an awful pitch, although you could see the intent. He was just trying to take a controlled swing and just poke something over to the right side and get Teahen over to third.
Well, a lot of times, Ryan, you'll see a hitter he wants to go to right field and wants to see that ball away from him. He thinks that's the pitch he needs to go with, and he committed a little bit too soon. But the best pitch to go away to the opposite field is the ball on the middle end, and you just get inside of it and drive it over there.
Nicked him. There's a big break for the Royals. So down 0-2 and chasing pitches way out of the strike zone. Mike Scioscia can't believe it.
But the ball ran in on him, Ryan, and you really can't see a change of direction on the ball. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it right there.
And now ball 1 on Alex. Alex 1 for 6 with a walk since coming back from the DL. That was on Friday against Tampa Bay. And 3 for 27 to begin the season. 1-1. Joel telling us in the first inning that Alex will not start in both games of the doubleheader, as the Royals continue to ease him in, coming off the hip surgery. Another way to ease him in would be to use him as the DH from time to time. He doesn't have to stand around at third base all game, can rest his hip in between at bats and still get his bat in there and get him some more at bats.
Well, yeah, you don't have to worry about the starting and the stopping and the going left, going right. You're right. So DH would be a great. You just have to worry about running and making turns on the bases.
Santana got a piece of that and it hits the bag. Teahen is going to score and the Royals are on the board. Looked like a bad break for the Royals. Santana got his foot on it, and that looked like a double play with Ibar going to the bag, but it hit the corner of the bag.
Well, Ibar probably thought he was going to be right on top of the bag. He can catch the ball and get the double play, but like you said, the ball did hit the bag and bounce to the shortstop side, and Mark Teahen would never hesitated going around third.
So Alex drives in his first since coming back from the DL, his 4th overall. And speaking of players that came up to the Angels system that are switch hitters, Alberto Callaspo from the Angels system traded to the Diamondbacks, traded to the Royals. Angels are ready for a bunt. Figgins on the grass at third. Instead, a routine fly ball into left center field. So 1 out for Miguel Olivo.
Well, you can see Ibar's just setting himself to catch the ball and tag the base, and that was just a tough break right there. Great break for Alex and a tough break for the Angels. That's a football and a bag ball.
Olivo chased a bad one and bounces into a double play thanks to a nice play on a hop to Morales. After all that, Royals get 1. To put the Royals on the board. Today's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison. Sidney Ponson hit 96. So the elbow feeling good since coming back from DL. Santana at 94. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Oh, 1 to Myceres Turris. Rounded out sharply to Tien at first base. Younger brother of Cesar is Turris. Shortstop for the Orioles. We'll see him on the next road trip. 2-1. Angels coming up with 3 runs on 4 singles in the second inning. One of the runs on a suicide squeeze in the second inning. 2-2. Off of Ponson's glove, and then a awkward hop on Betancourt. That ball had a lot of spin on it after it went off of Ponson's glove, and Ponson shaking his left hand. That was not the hop that Betancourt was anticipating.
Now this ball, when it goes over Ponson, as a shortstop, the ball comes off. You expect the ball to bounce straight up to you, but the ball had a little English and went back to Betancourt's right and got by him for a base hit. He was trying to anticipate catching that ball off his forehand side, and with the ball coming off of Ponson's hand, it just found that spin, Ryan, and as soon as it hit the grass, it went back to his right.
And the English on the ball really hurt him because Unieski is not fluent in English yet. 0-1 on Abreu. Why is there always English on the ball? You know? Well, that ball had some English on it.
Well, that goes back to my pool hall days, you know. Put a little English on the cue ball.
Yeah. Abreu with a smash into center. Bloomquist has it. 1 on 1 out in the 3rd inning. So Abreu a tough luck 0 for 2. Twice he's lined to the outfield. And that brings up Kendry Morales. Popped out to short in the 2nd inning. He brings an 18-game hitting streak in today. He went 0 for 5 back on June the 10th, and apparently that angered him so much that he has not had a hitless game since. Kendry Morales, just like Yuniesky Betancourt and Brian Pena, defecting from Cuba. They were teammates on the Cuban junior national team at one time. Betancourt coming over in 2003. Fascinating to hear some of these guys' stories. Kendry Morales tried to defect from Cuba 8 times and was caught 7 times. 3 times he was put in jail for defecting. And as we've told you before in talking about Yuniesky and Brian now with the Royals, that when you're in jail in Cuba, part of the system is not feeding the inmates. Family is responsible for bringing food and water so they can stay alive in the jail. So imprisoned 3 times for trying to defect, 7 times unsuccessfully, and finally Kendry Morales got his freedom.
Well, you can definitely say he was determined to make some changes in his life, and did a great job. I managed against him in Double-A when he first came over, and you could tell right away from a hitting standpoint he was going to be a hitter.
With more on that, here's Joel.
Well, you talked about a few of those guys growing up together. How about this? All on one team for the Cuban national team. Brian Pena, Kendry Morales, Yunel Escobar, Yuniesky Betancourt, and Alexi Ramirez. They're all within 2 years of each other. They all played together from 11 to 17 years old. Pena, Morales, and Escobar all grew up in Havana, and Brian was telling me today that Kendry Morales is the one he is the closest with. He says that his mom is Kendry Morales' godmother, guys.
So the stories about how they got off the island, but then the stories about what life was like on the island. Brian was telling me the other day when we were going over his story and sharing it with you, they made $20 a month. That was their salary for being part of the Cuban national team. That was their job, which is the case in a lot of countries when you're on an Olympic team. But $20 a month. Three and 2 on Morales. I'll never forget being at Yankee Stadium shortly after El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, had defected and went to the Yankees. Remember old Yankee Stadium where you sat on the bus in that barricaded area where the players came out and the fans would yell at him? Orlando Hernandez comes out. He's got some nice linen pants on, some leather loafers, a cell phone on each hip, some nice sunglasses, and I'm thinking, wow, has life changed for him? With his tourist running, Morales extends his hitting streak to 19 games, and the Angels putting on the heat again. 1st and 3rd, 1 out, with Napoli coming up.
Morales is riding an 18-game hitting streak, Ryan, and here's a pitch that's right down the middle of the plate. And like I said, he doesn't try to pull the ball. He hits the ball where it's pitched, and he just keeps his head right on it and drives the ball right down the middle. And with the runner running, it makes it easy for him to go 1st and 3rd. And the Angels, by the way, have gone 1st and 3rd 66 times this year, best in the American League.
And they preach that. I mean, Mike Scioscia says we want to be that kind of a team. I mean, that's specific. Not just saying we want to use our speed and put pressure on the defense. We want to be the best in the league going 1st to 3rd on singles. And
that takes your break from first base, reading the angle of the ball to the outfield, and then picking up your coach and just putting your head down and going after that point. But a lot of people say the tougher situation to be in is 1st and 3rd all the time. bases loaded, you got a chance to get out of that situation a lot of times a lot easier in the first and third.
Napoli singled and scored in the 3-run second inning. He's ahead in the count 2-0. Ponson looked great in the first inning, getting the Angels very quickly 1-2-3 with a strikeout. The Angels with 3 runs, 6 hits in the last inning and a third. Three and 0. Angels with both of their catchers in the lineup. Napoli's the DH. Mathis behind the plate. The Angels were carrying 3 catchers for a while. With all the injuries to some of the key hitters like Torrey Hunter and Vladimir Guerrero, to get some better bats in the lineup, the Angels called up a young catcher named Bobby Wilson so that they could have both catchers in the lineup and then still have someone on the bench if something happened to the catcher that was in there. But right before this series, Wilson sent back down to the minor leagues, so these are the only 2 options. Ponson fills out the count at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Frank, David Boyce will never give you a hard time again about dealing with foul balls in the press box. Ever.
He asked me to take my number off the board when I didn't catch one when I got it away, but he actually tried to catch. I will see him tomorrow.
If you haven't heard the story before, Frank was in the press box last year. There's David Boyce. Frank was in the press box last year with Joel, and a foul ball came in, and Frank bailed. Didn't want anything to do with it. And David Boyce, in a great humorous moment in the press box, said, "Take that number down," meaning Frank's retired number 20 because of the Gold Gloves. Take that number down if he's not going to try and catch that foul ball.
It's better to let him come in and roll around than to get embarrassed trying to catch one and don't catch it.
Yeah, but remember the great Teddy Roosevelt quote about being in the arena, you know, that whether they succeed or fail, at least they're in there trying, and the ones that are, you know, criticizing from the outside, they have no business doing that because they've never actually been in the arena. Now look at that guy. Camouflage hat, T-shirt around his neck.
The guys that haven't been trained to do this do it very well. The ones that have been trained to do it know what the repercussions are if you don't do it right.
Napoli off the end of the bat and hooking, so a long run for DeJesus, and David can't quite get there, sliding up against the barrier wall. So a long at bat for Mike Napoli.
No, Ryan, the Royals are going to have to get a lot out of sitting in this game today. They really can't afford to have him come out early in this game and have to go to the bullpen too early. So he's going to have to try to throw some pitches today and try to get them deeper into the game and take a little pressure off the bullpen with another game to be played.
Almost had that play work. Morales started towards second base, but read the move and kind of spinning his wheels on the wet dirt for a moment, but got back to first without a throw.
You know, and that play right there, Ryan, what pitchers make their mistake on this play is they fake the third and hope they catch the runner running. But what they should do is when they fake the play, they should anticipate making a throw to first. And a lot of times you still catch the guy a step or two off the base trying to get back, but they want to make sure they want to turn around and see that he's already going before they commit to throwing the ball to first base.
So not just catch him in between first and second, but pick them off on their way back to first.
Yeah, as soon as you turn, as soon as your left foot hits the ground and you turn to first, just turn with that, you're going to throw the ball. Just go ahead and throw the ball, and then let the first baseman make the adjustments after that. Because a lot of those guys will take 2 or 3 steps and realize the play's on, and now they're heading back to first, and you still have time to pick them off.
Running again, and that's another foul ball from Napoli. 6 foul balls and 10 pitches in this plate appearance. Already up to 57 pitches with only one out in the third. And ball 4. They're loaded up with one out. So Napoli earned that walk. Ponson has to make sure he doesn't let this game get away from him in the third inning.
Right now, Ronnie just needs to make Ibar put this ball in play. You know, you're looking at 3 home runs, so you don't have to be so fine. You just got to make the ball, make the hitter hit the ball. Just throw the ball in the center of the plate, make it sink, try to get your ground ball. When you're trying to pitch to the corners and the ball's running off the corners, then you're going to get deep counts. That's when you get in trouble.
0-1 to Ibar. And speaking of brothers, we just saw Willie Ibar, his older brother, play in the Tampa Bay series. Had a big double for the Rays on Saturday in Game 2, and one of their 3 come-from-behind wins. There's a sinker with some good movement, but Ibar lays off at 1-1.
Yeah, the one thing about the Angels, when they get in, when they have a hitter like Ibar at the plate, you just have to always expect the unexpected.
One and two. The Angels must have the equivalent of like a printing press, where they just pull the lever, the printing press comes down, and what pops out is a switch hitting fast middle infielder. Up the right field side, but hooking and foul. How about that catch? David Boyce is getting embarrassed tonight.
I'm going to have to bring him a glove to the ballpark tomorrow. Say, now you keep this up here just in case you want to pretend you're a ball player.
So he's saying, put that number back up on the scoreboard again.
He said, that guy had a glove.
Yeah. This guy didn't have a glove, though. This is the 30th pitch of the inning for Ponson. And he throws it off the backstop. Back to Ponson. Safe. Got under the tag. Trey Hillman out quickly. We'll have to look at the replay, but it appeared that Izturis may have gotten under the glove.
You know, Levo's tag was real high, Ryan, up around the shoulders, and like the feet did get in before the tag went down. You see it at regular speed. It looked like it might have been a changeup that got away from him, and good bounce. But it's an awful high tag.
Tagged him on the helmet, knocked the helmet off, but watch the foot.
But you can still see, even though Ponson was tossing this ball to Olivo still took a step forward. If he stays back to the plate and let the ball come to him, he's got a better chance to block and tag at the same time. But he wanted to go out and get the ball and then reach back, and it just takes too much time.
All the runners move up, so no chance for a double play. Infield in for the Royals. And a full count on Ibar. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ponson has done very well against the Angels in his career. So he gets a good feeling when he toes the rubber and sees that letter A on the hat with the halo above it. 7-2 in his career against the Angels, but down by 3 already in the 3rd inning. And another foul ball. Alfredo Griffin, who was a slick fielding shortstop in his days.
Another one of those Angel body types.
Yeah. And yet another play without a glove. This is not getting any better for David Boyce.
Yeah, Alfredo had some great days with the Blue Jays playing shortstop.
Another foul ball. Alfredo was Rookie of the Year, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, 1979, American League Rookie of the Year.
That was his first year with the Blue Jays?
Well, your rookie year is usually your first year.
I meant the Blue Jays. In case you just joined us, I guess that would be your first year. He was laying in the woods on that one for me.
He was an excellent defensive infielder. He had a very serious injury in his career. He was hit on the cheekbone after a collision with Barry Larkin, and he had to wear one of those. Thing I remember about him, he had one of those plastic masks on his face. And all the nicknames started coming out from his teammates. Teammates can be brutal even if you have a serious injury. Teammates calling him Alfredo Gretzky, the Phantom of the Dominican. But he was an outstanding shortstop. Made it look easy. Another walk from Ponson, and they're loaded up for Gary Matthews Jr. 36 pitches this inning. And now he's coming up on 70 for the game. And there's only one out in the third. Back-to-back walks to Napoli and Ibar. And both of those hitters really earned the walk. Napoli fouled off 6 before his walk. And Ibar fouled off 5 before his. And ball one on Gary Matthews Jr. He drove in one of the 3 runs in the second inning and then scored himself on a base hit from Reggie Willits. Good breaking ball, 1-1. His next pitch will be number 40 of this inning. There's always 2 pitch counts you have to look at as far as the wear and tear on a pitcher. Obviously the overall pitch count, but you can also lose it in 1 inning. You're throwing 30, 40 pitches in 1 inning. I mean, that can gash you for the rest of the game. Broken bat, chance for 2. Callaspo, he got Ibar and turns a double play. The Angels get just 1 thanks to the double play. It's 4-1 Los Angeles to the bottom of the third. With Cox Communications throughout this homestand to honor community leaders from outside of Kansas City. And tonight we honor Janelle Smith Carson. She was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 1965 as an Olympian in the 400-meter run for the U.S. Olympic team from Parsons, Kansas. Just recently retired after 35 years of teaching first grade. She'll be inducted into the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame this fall. And she's sitting in the Buck O'Neill Legacy seat. And Unievsky Betancourt shoots one into center field. Royals down by 3, have the leadoff man on. And that snaps an 0 for 8 for Betancourt. Usually we go downstairs to Joel Goldberg. Let's go upstairs to Joel.
Well, I just wanted to come up here, and he says, no, leave me alone. Just wanted to present David. This is from Frank, a Gold Glove. And we understand that you're left-handed, so that should work. That is that's from Frank.
I think I had this coming, the way I made fun of him when he ducked.
First off, there's a nice hit from David DeJesus, so runners on first and second. All right, you got to talk. You got to speak for yourself here. Number 20 is still on the board. Did you want number 20 back up there?
Yes. I messed up. I dropped the ball. I have no excuses. I'm embarrassed.
Frank, anything for your buddy David Boyce?
Well, you saved me the trip between games. Just tell him to remember my rule.
Which is?
Let the ball roll around, then pick it up.
All right, he wants you to remember the rule, let the ball roll around and then pick it up. And he wants to thank you for not having to have him come up here in between games.
Well, if there's another chance, I will make a play on the ball.
Oh!
Will you use the glove, the Gold Glove?
No.
Well, then, let's just toss this thing away. We don't need the glove. Doesn't make a difference. All right, that is non-Gold Glover David Boyce. Guys.
Now, Joel, we know there are some monitors up there in the press box, so make sure that David is paying attention. Maybe a fan will be able to make this catch, because we've had some very good plays in the crowd by fans with and without gloves. First of all, here's the miss. I'm not sure if it even hit his hands or not. Now watch this guy. Barehanded in the upper deck. And then this guy with the glove reaching out over the railing, no less.
The writers up here did want to point out that Frank maybe Olay the ball earlier in the week. I don't know what they're talking about.
Lundqvist bloops it into right. The Angels were ready for a bunt. And the second straight inning that the Royals have had first and second and nobody out and have not elected to sack bunt. This time it pays off as Willie bloops one to load the bases with nobody out.
Well, he gets caught up front and just reached a little bit. Ryan just got enough of the bat on the ball to get it in the right field.
And now they're loaded up for Billy Butler, who flied out to deep right in the first inning. 2 years ago in Anaheim, Billy Butler hit his first major league home run off of Irvin Santana. Ball one inside.
Well, this is a hitter that the Royals have been waiting for to get to the plate with men on base. He's been getting a lot of hits with nobody on base, and this is a perfect opportunity for Billy Butler to make the Angels pay.
Billy 1 for 10 against Santana after his fly out in the first innings. Only one hit, that home run against Santana 2 years ago. Hitting .450 in his career with the bases loaded, and even better this year, 3 out of 6. 2 balls, 1 strike. Santana not about to give in on 2-0 to Butler. Singles from Betancourt, DeJesus, and Blomqvist. Got him reaching, and that evens the count at 2-2.
Well, this situation here, Ryan, Billy should be thinking about nothing but driving the ball to the outfield and don't even think about the base hit. The primary objective here is just drive the ball to the outfield. And that means you got to get a pitch up that you can handle, but with 2 strikes, he's got to kind of guard the plate against anything close.
Still 2-2. Billy the DH tonight. He was going to be the DH last night, but Trey Hillman at the last moment, because of the wet grass and Jose Guillen's bum ankle, put Billy back in at first, but Guillen in right. Now that things have dried off and he strikes out. Santana's second. Bases loaded, 1 out for Tien.
So Santana didn't give in to Billy at all this at bat once he got behind and just stayed with his slider, and Billy swung over it. Nice slider, nice pitcher's pitch right here, but Billy didn't go down and get it.
Inside to Tien, who doubled and scored in the second inning. You know, looking at that slider, has a very unique break to it. Most sliders have more horizontal movement side to side, but that slider almost had some tumble to it.
Well, it's a real nice tight slider. It just that's the old-fashioned slider, Ryan. That sometimes the slur, the cutter, but that's a good slider right there from Santana.
That one had a little more horizontal break to it to Tien. Santana has been on the disabled list twice this year with arm troubles. Off the fists and foul, 1-2. He started the season on the disabled list with a right elbow injury. In fact, the Angels had 3 starters on the DL to begin the year: John Lackey, Santana, and Kelvin Escobar. Escobar's back on the DL. Santana has been on the DL with a triceps injury. Wanted the slider down, and he got it down. 2 strikeouts with the bases loaded, and now it's up to Guillen.
It's almost like watching Zach Greinke pitch with 2 strikes to the left-hander. That slotted down to the backhand side, and the catcher wants the ball down, and that's where it's at right there. Santana did a great job, and Jeff Mathis did a great job blocking.
Guillen hit by a pitch his first time, and that's into center field, and he bails out the offense with a 2-run single to center. It's a 1-run game.
Holder did a real good job here, right? You can see him pull his hands in to get the fat part of the bat on the ball, and did a good job driving that ball into center field. Watch how his hands come forward real quick, just so he can get inside, and he did a super job at taking his fastball and keeping it in the middle of the field.
First and second now for Alex Gordon. Singled home a run in the second inning. Bloomquist at second, Guillen at first. Over the inside, and it's 0-2. Santana coming off a very good outing. Thursday at Oakland, gave up 1 run, 3 hits in 8 innings. But before that, his ERA was 7.8. And he's going to cut this off and go to the bag himself. That's the inning. Royals get 2 and make it a 1-run game. in the bottom of the third, so a one-run game to the fourth. Jeff Mathis, Angel catcher, takes ball one from Ponson. Sidney giving up 3 in the second inning, 1 in the third. He's already had 73 pitches. 2-0 to Mathis, who laid down a suicide squeeze with 1 out in the second inning. Getting the second run home. The Angels scored 3 in the inning. 1 hot bullet to Betancourt. Mathis is out, 1 down in the fourth inning. Today's league leaders brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Angels leading the league in team batting average at .283. That's in front of the Yankees, the Rays, the Blue Jays, and the Twins. Royals hitting at .252 coming in today. The Angels also third in the league in runs scored. We told you they're second in the league in stolen bases. Willits lays down a bunch. Should be an easy play for Olivo. And 2 outs on just 4 pitches for Ponson in the fourth inning. Royals baseball brought to you by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. So 2 down to Sean Figgins. 0 for 2 today and 0 for 12 against the Royals. Slice to the corner and off the glove of a fan reaching out over the railing. See the number 34 on the left side of Figgins' jersey to honor Nick Adenhart, the Angels pitcher that was killed in a car crash in April. And on the right sleeve it says Preston to honor Preston Gomez, longtime member of the Angels organization, as a scout and a coach, former major league manager. Shallow left center. Betancourt wants it. And Ponson needed that inning. 8 pitches to get to the fourth. Their leadoff man, Sean Figgins, is 0 for 3. Figgins leading the league in runs scored with 72. 0-1 on Alberto Callaspo. Flied out to center his first time up. And grounds to his Turris. 1 away. Figgins, the first man that Ponson faced in the first. Here's the Arby's pitch by pitch.
Well, he's had a tough time with the Royals so far this season, and this is a tough at bat to start the game against Sidney Ponson here, Ryan. He threw a lot of pitches to him, change speeds, curveballs, and then he got him with a changeup.
Olivo grounding into a double play in the second inning. Jumping back on a pitch that was a strike. Santana, just like Ponson, had an easy first inning, but trouble in the second and the third. I was telling you last inning that pitched very well in his last start Thursday at Oakland, giving up only 3 hits in 8 innings. But before that, he was 1-5 with a 7.8 ERA. So for the most part this year, he has not been good. There's the final line against the A's. Angels won that game 6-2. But he's only really had 2 good starts among his first 9. He has struck out his 4th, 2 down in the 4th inning. Really has a slider working. Christmas in July supporting the Salvation Army is coming up on Saturday. 20,000 fans will receive a powder blue Royals stocking, and fans can enjoy a winter wonderland in the outfield experience with snow, Christmas music, cookies, photos with Santa, and more. That's the Royals and the Rangers on Saturday. Betancourt singled and scored. Chased a bad pitch there. It's 0-2.
I think that's the one thing I noticed here, Ryan, is that Santana's really not throwing a lot of actual strikes. The Royals are really chasing a lot of balls out of the strike zone, which is making his job a lot easier to this point in the ball game. And the one thing he's doing well is he's following Jeff Mathis really well across the plate. He wants that ball up, he got it up. When he wants it down, he gets it down. So he's doing a great job of staying with the catcher.
Shallow right, and up comes Abreu. Santana works a 1-2-3-4. giving up 4 runs, but because of the offense, only down by 1 as we go to the 5th inning. And the Royals' biggest hit coming from Jose Guillen on the same day that he kind of vented on himself and singled himself out in an article in the Kansas City Star.
Well, Ryan, Jose was brought here to drive in runs, and 93 runs the year before he got here, over 90 RBI last year. And he's off to a slow start on the production side. And guys who are expected to come in and drive runs, expect to drive in runs. So I can see his frustration. But the one thing he has done, he's delivered some big 2-out base hits for the Royals, and he also delivered a big 2-out base hit in tonight's game to bring the Royals back within 1 run in this ballgame.
So Jesus retires as Turris. So 1 away for Ponson, who is up over 80 pitches already. James B. Nutter pitch count. Not a terrible strike to ball ratio, which hurt him in addition to the base hits, but a lot of foul balls hit by the Angels, especially in the first 3 innings. Bobby Abreu twice has lined to the outfield, once to left, once to center. Sidney flips a curve in for strike 1. Abreu hit a home run in the 10th inning on Sunday, helping the Angels win a 1-0 game. Scoreless at the end of 9. Abreu homered in the 10th. Two balls, 1 strike. Abreu earlier this year getting career hit number 2,000. The 5th Venezuelan player in history to have at least 2,000 hits. Can you name the other 4 or any of the other 4?
Odds again?
No.
Well, you have to go way back. Luis Aparicio.
That's one of them. I believe he was the first.
Chico Carrasquel.
Nope, didn't quite get there.
Tony Armas.
The rest of them are more modern players.
Oh, Omar Vizquel.
That's 2.
Maglio.
Not quite to 2,000.
But close.
But close. Close in that, yeah, he's from Venezuela.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a long way away.
No, I think he's probably moving up on 2,000.
He's got to be real close.
You're at the right position. You've named 2 from one position. Another one is also from that position. Bobby Abreu must have allowed a black cat to cross in front of him. Maybe he walked under a ladder on his way to Kauffman Stadium. And he's had bad luck. 3 bullets, and he's 0 for 3.
Caspo does a great job standing on the side and getting the long hop and just made this play look a lot easier than it really was. He just takes his time and realizes he's got a lot of time and doesn't try to rush. He made a nice throw to Tien at first base.
Now 0-1 on Morales. Big red machine. It's a clue for you. Not talking about the Angels.
Tony Perez?
Nope.
No, he's not. Okay.
He's from Cuba.
Oh, shortstop. Davey Concepcion.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
So 1 left. We'll have to wait on it. Ponson has retired 7 in a row. And your summer vacation at Colorado.com. And by AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Another shot inside the Royals Hall of Fame, and Frank's number 20 on the jersey and number 20 on the Hall of Fame. Now, forgive me for not knowing this, but I have wondered all year, looking at the retired numbers on the Royals Hall of Fame. 20 for you, 10 for Dick Hauser, 5 for George Brett. As DeJesus has 3 good swings today, a line out, and now 2 singles. With a tying run on with nobody out in the 5th inning.
Well, when David stays true to his hitting plan, he does a great job, Ryan. When he doesn't pull off the ball, he does a great job of getting his pitch down and driving it back through the middle.
The 3 retired numbers just to the left of your number 20, there's a line. That's the same color as the retired numbers, right above the AT&T there. Is there any significance of that line?
Not that I know of. That's the first time I've noticed it, actually. We might have to put Joel on that one.
Now, you can only see half of it from that angle, so it looks like .20. It's a little taller than that. Yeah, let's get Joel on that. Willie Bloomquist has singled, struck out, laying down a bunt, and that's going to go foul. Good idea, though. All right. Fans are wondering, when we were talking about the Venezuelans with 2,000 hits, Bobby Abreu was the 5th, and you have identified Louis Aparicio, David Concepcion. Who else did you get?
We got Vizquel.
Omar Vizquel, thank you. There's one more left. Colorado Rockies. Before that, Montreal Expos.
And also Atlanta Braves.
Yes.
Andres Galarraga.
The big cat. The 5 Venezuelans with at least 2,000 hits. 3 of them shortstop. A first baseman, and now an outfielder, Bobby Abreu. One and 2 to Willie. His single in the 3rd inning was on an 0-2 pitch. Angels were ready for a bunt. Betancourt and DeJesus had singled. And with 2 on, nobody out, the corners were on the grass. But Willie not bunting at all. Fell behind 0-2, but has finessed one out into shallow right in front of Abreu, and the Royals scoring 2 in the 3rd inning to make it a 1-run game. DeJesus running, swung on and missed, stolen base. Got underneath the tag from his Turris.
Well, David got a real good jump here, Ryan, and Willie Bloomquist really chased the ball down and out of the strike zone. It's that little short hop that really allowed David to be safe on this play, and with Willie not being able to get the sac bunt down, then they accomplished the same thing with David still in second base.
Now it's 1-0 on Billy Butler. Billy has flied to deep right and struck out. Two and 0.
Yeah, that was one area, Ryan, that's really just keeps plaguing the Royals. Just getting their bunts down, getting their runners advanced, either from first base by sac bunt or from second by sac bunt. It doesn't really matter at this point who they're asking to get the job done. They're just not having a lot of success in getting that accomplished.
3-0 on Billy. Well, the question comes up often when we see teams that we haven't seen in a while, or maybe for the first time. You know, what happened after the 18-11 start? And the Royals were getting offensive production like they were in the third inning. Bases loaded, nobody out, strikeout, strikeout, clutch hit, you score 2 runs. Billy swinging on 3-0. Drives it to deep right. Abreu all the way back. Gone, and the Royals have taken the lead. So Billy Butler with his first and now his most recent big league home runs against Irvin Santana.
But when you hit 3-0, what the manager wants you to do is get a good pitch. And Billy got a good fastball down the middle of the plate and just drove it to straightaway right field. He hit this ball like a left-hander, Ryan. Didn't even slice or anything. Just drove it right into the bullpen.
And on a day where you don't really want to hit the ball in the air.
Oh, that's a win. Yeah, and that's the first home run to right field for Billy. I mean, that's straightaway right field. That's a poke for a right-handed hitter, yeah, especially in this ballpark.
Tien down 0-2. He has doubled and struck out. But anyway, early in the season, the Royals were not doing very well with situational hitting, but they were getting clutch hits. The most difficult hit to get with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. But then when those dried up and the situational hitting still wasn't there, well, the offense dried up.
When you go back to when Billy hit with the bases loaded, it was just, okay, here's the guy you wanted to play. He's been swinging the bat well, and they chased some bad pitches and struck out. And Mark Tien followed with a strikeout. And Jose Guillen gets a big 2-out base hit.
Tien strikes out again. That's 6 for Santana. 2 down in the 5th. Coming up February 1st through the 5th of next year, the Royals will be hosting fantasy camp again with an all-star lineup of coaches, including George Brett, John Mayberry, Frank will be there, Dennis Leonard, David Boyce, Willie Wilson, Jeff Montgomery, and others. $3,700 includes all ground transportation, 2 meals a day, a couple of uniforms, a game against major league players in the main stadium, an awards banquet. You'll get a locker in the Major League Clubhouse with all the amenities. The Major League Clubhouse staff will be there. Major League trainers will be there. Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp. We would love to see you there. Guillen is out. Royals done in the 5th, but Billy Butler with his 9th home run of the year puts the Royals in front at the end of 5. RBI with the Royals in front 5-4. It's our Coors Light Freeze Cam back in the second inning. Hit the ball hard off of Santana's foot. Looked like the Angels are going to get a double play, but the ball hit the bag. Martian came around to score on the play. Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. So Sidney Ponson has the lead. Not for long. Almost hit it through the front door of the Hall of Fame in left field, and we're tied at 5.
Well, not a good way to start after you come back and take the lead, Ryan. This is a breaking ball that stayed out over the plate, Mill in, and Napoli's got big time pop. And he really jumped on this. This ball went well into the left field seats, just under the one more bounce, probably hit the facing of the Hall of Fame. Just an outstanding swing, but a bad pitch by Sidney Ponson.
Ponson had retired 7 in a row for the home run from Napoli. That's what you hope for from a pro, a guy who's been around for a while. Mayhay warming up as Ponson is now moving up on 100 pitches, but hit around hard in the second and third innings, but pulled it together. In the meantime, the Royals had taken the lead on Butler's home run in the bottom of the 5th, but 2 pitches into the 6th and we're tied up. And Ibar drills it into right field. So 2 batters, 2 shots. Now Gary Matthews Jr. Ibar's been on base 3 times already. Sidney Ponson's been around long enough to know that it was probably not Miguel Olivo's idea to go out to the mound, but it's Miguel's job to think of something creative to say as the Royals are trying to buy some time for Mayhay in the bullpen.
Well, right now he's just getting the ball up a little bit. He's later into the game. His pitch count's up, getting up there, and just got to get the ball back down again. And here with Ibar on first base, it creates another set of problems for him because Ibar will run. And so you just want to make sure that he doesn't pay too much attention to him, that he takes away from Gary Matthews at the plate.
There's another attempt at buying some time for the bullpen. While they talk it over, we'll tell you the Bob Evans weekday play pack has been extended to all Monday through Thursday games this year. It's a great deal. 4 Field Plaza tickets with $20 of concession value and unlimited free games in the outfield experience. All that for just $44. So if you're coming out and you'd like to bring a group Monday through Thursday, ask about the Bob Evans weekday play pack. I've always wondered when a catcher gets that call from the dugout, someone will whistle at the catcher will look over and they'll give that little motion with the hand, go talk to him. If the catcher ever says, "What do I say?" It'll be Ron Mayhay on to face Gary Matthews Jr. may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Sidney Ponson out. Ron Mayhay is in for his 31st appearance.
Well, that might be one of the few times that Bob McClure makes the pitching change. You know, he's talking to Ponson, the umpire's standing there, and all of a sudden the umpire motions, give me the lefty. That's interesting right there.
Well, I was surprised because I thought that had all the makings of a pitching change. You know, just trying to delay. Mayhay's warming up. And I was waiting for Trey Hillman to come out of the dugout for the change. But when Bob McClure came out, I thought, well, maybe they're going to let Sidney pitch to one more hitter. But sure enough, it was a pitching change. Gary Matthews Jr. then becomes a right-hand hitter against Mayhay as a lefty. 1 for 2 against Ponson. RBI single, run scored, and he hit into a double play. Well, the Angels' depth has really paid off this year. When you look at the players that this team has had on the disabled list, it is almost a miracle that they are where they are with their record and where they are in the standings. One and one. John Lackey, Kelvin Escobar, Irvin Santana, 3 of their 5 starters on the disabled list to begin the year. 85% of you, despite those injuries, think that there could be a possible Angels-Dodgers World Series. 5% think the Mets are going to pull it back together. Vladimir Guerrero on the disabled list twice. Torrey Hunter's on the DL now. Scott Shields, their dependable setup man, is done for the year with knee surgery. But you have guys like Gary Matthews Jr., who's been a starter in the big leagues, coming off the bench. You can call up Reggie Willits from the minor leagues. I mean, imagine the equivalent, Frank, of starting the year with Zach Greinke, Gil Mesh, and Kyle Davies on the disabled list. I mean, that's pretty much what the Angels had to begin the year.
Well, the one thing that they have also, Ryan, is they got the defense, they've got speed, they've got guys that can put the ball in play, they can manufacture runs and occasionally hit the long ball. So they still had those other intangibles that could help them get through the games, and I think that's what makes the Angels who they are. I mean, they just being so versatile in everything that they do. You know, having all those switch hitters, it's hard for other teams to match up. And it just keeps the defense on its toes because, like I say, Mike Scioscia plays an unconventional type of baseball.
So Mayhay comes on and walks Matthews. And Mike Scioscia's team has something going here in the 6th. Napoli is homer to tie it up, and now 2 on, nobody out. 2.5 game lead over the Rangers. Seattle continues to surprise. 6 games above 500 and only 4 games back. Royals ready for the bunt. And not bunting. Mathis takes ball 1. He laid down a sacrifice suicide squeeze in the 2nd inning, successfully getting Eric Ibar to the plate. Grounded out in the 4th. One and one.
Now back in the 2nd inning, here's Mathis laying down a perfect bunt, and on a squeeze bunt. Actually, you don't have to even be perfect with the bunt. You just got to make sure you get the ball down on the ground.
And now he may be asked to lay down a bunt. Nope, down in the count, 1-2. Angels first round pick in 2001, Jeff Mathis.
Well, Jeff usually is pretty deadly on the ball down middle end, Ryan. He's really struggled. The last time we saw him out there, he was swinging the bat pretty decent, but he's actually struggled since then.
2-2.
You know, Mike might have looked at him hitting 193 and Reggie Willis hitting 182, and probably likes this matchup a little bit better.
Full count. Well, if you're a catcher that isn't hitting all that great, but you're getting the job done behind the plate, the Angels are your team. Mike Scioscia, being a former catcher, knows the importance of the 100 to 150 pitches that catcher calls over the course of 9 innings. Might be more important than the 3 or 4 plate appearances that they have. Mayhay has walked 2, and they're loaded up with nobody out.
Well, what you said is a good point, Ryan, especially if you don't have your number 1 starters in there all the time, and you need a catcher that's going to be able to follow a good game plan, get the pitchers to be able to throw the ball where he wants them to throw it, and get them through some tough innings. And like you say, that was Mike Scioscia's job. And then when it's time to be tough around the plate, be tough around the plate. He blocked the plate as good as anybody I've ever seen.
Mike Scioscia, in describing his role as a catcher, would always say the pitcher was the horse and he was the jockey. The horse is the one that wins the race. I mean, nobody comes out to watch the jockeys sit on top of the horse. They want to see the horses run. The jockey has an important role. And boy, you're right. Having grown up in Los Angeles myself and following the Dodgers, I mean, Mike Scioscia sacrificed his body for collisions at the plate as much as anyone I've ever seen.
I mean, when he went down, the base runner stopped. I mean, there was no way you were going to get through him or get around him. He really just got right down there and got down on his knees, and you just couldn't budge him. Now, this is really not a good start for Ron Mayhew here. This is a situation here where he not only gives the Royals an opportunity to go down a few more runs, but he's got an opportunity to get more guys out of that bullpen than maybe Trey Hillman wants out of that bullpen in his first game today.
Yeah, if he doesn't get the job done here in the 6th, you're talking about using 3 pitchers before you're even done with 6 innings. One ball, 1 strike. Willits is driven in a run with a single. Tried to bunt his way on in the 4th, and he's one of those guys you never know what he's going to do. Tien's on the edge of the grass over at first. He might swing away. He might bunt for a base hit. Gordon not far from the edge of the grass over on the left side. Hit hard to left. To Jesus shallow. Ibar still going to try and score, and he beats the throw. So the Angels retake the lead at 6-5, and Willits has driven in 2.
Well, this is really a tough one here. The way David catches this ball really doesn't give him an opportunity to get behind this ball and make a better throw to the plate. And with Ibar's speed, he scored easily. So he probably looked at the way David was coming in on that ball, and if David hadn't had to stop and reach up, then he might have held up on this play. But when he saw the body position of Jesus when he caught the ball, that was his trigger to go on that play.
So first and second, 1 out, and it's 0-1 to Figgins. Hitless in 3 trips. Sidney Ponson began his afternoon by striking out Figgins. Retired the first 4. Ponson in trouble in the 2nd and 3rd innings, and retired 7 in a row before giving up the home run to Napoli in this inning. 0-2 on Figgins. Ponson gives up 6 runs, 8 hits in 5 innings. He pitched into the 6th without recording an out. Gave up the home run to Napoli and the single to Ibar, and now the 2 runners on are the responsibility of Mayhay. 1-2 on Figgins. Two and two. 6 switch hitters in the lineup for the Angels in this game. I wonder if the other 3 teams in the Western Division even have 6 switch hitters combined. You ever think about trying switch hitting?
I switched it my first year in the academy. I didn't stay with it too long.
Really?
I was moving so fast through the system that I just went ahead and just stayed right-handed. Didn't stay with it very long. But you know, Yoel Washington was a natural right-handed hitter that became a switch hitter. Willie Wilson was natural right-handed, became switch hitter. So they had a little more time to develop it in the minor leagues.
I'll bet that's something a lot of Royals fans didn't know.
It didn't last very long.
Great pitch on the corner. So after giving up a couple of walks, Mayhay trying to even that out. He's got 1 strikeout and 2 away.
But a lot of times, Ryan, when you're all over the strike zone, you sooner or later you just make a good pitch, and the hitter's eyes are not centered in one area. So Ron was able to come back and sneak this ball on the inside corner.
So first and second, 2 down for his tourists, and before they go after him, Olivo wants to go out have a visit with Mayhay. Royals got a 2-run home run from Butler in the bottom of the 5th to take a 5-4 lead. The Ponsone's second pitch of this inning ended up against the glass of the Hall of Fame out in left field on a home run from Napoli. Angels added another run to regain the lead. Ball 1 on is Turris. 1 for 3 with an infield single, and he has scored a run. Zach Greinke once said Billy Butler is the best hitter I've ever seen. And Billy ought to take that as a huge compliment. Zach's not one to just throw compliments out like that out.
Zach was there in Double-A when he watched Billy win the batting title, and Billy did. Every time he swung the bat, it was a line drive somewhere, it seems like. Yeah, the thing that makes Billy special is that he uses the whole field. You know, he's not strictly a pull guy. He's not strictly a guy to go the other way, but he has a distinct plan. The fastball, he just try to drive anywhere from left center field over to the right field line, and when the pitchers hang their change ups and throw their sinkers down and in, then those are the balls he's going to pull.
Another walk. 3 walks given up by Mayhay in the inning. So they're loaded up again. But now Bobby Abreu comes to the plate. And Trey Hillman has seen enough. So Trey would rather see a righty throw to Abreu than a lefty-lefty matchup, Mayhay to Abreu. for fans age 25 and older is coming up on September the 12th, 8 a.m. here at Kauffman Stadium. $300 will get you light breakfast at the Crown Club. Then you can stretch, hit in the cages with instruction from former Royals, then go to the field, hitting in groups of 10 on the field with former Royals pitching. You can also shag in the outfield. And if you're interested, call the Royals or go to the website at royals.com. Roman Colon, last time he took the mound was on Sunday and walked Gabe Gross with the bases loaded. Tampa Bay's 2-run 8th inning. 0-1 on Abreu. Abreu 0 for 3, could easily be 3 for 3. Line to left in the first, line to center in the third, and grounded out very sharply to Callaspo at second in the fifth. It's a to Callaspo again. Fumbles, recovers, and throws him out. Angels leave the bases loaded, but they regain the lead with 2 in the 6th. Mike Napoli with this swing tied it at 5. Angels added another run.
Out of the park, you will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
One and one to Alex Gordon. RBI single in the second inning when his ground ball hit the bag at second and grounded back to Santana in the third. Good changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Royals have been down today 3-0 and 4-1, and they've had the lead 5-4. Alex followed by Alberto Callaspo and Miguel Olivo. Santana's had 2 1-2-3 innings, and he's had 3 high stress innings. And he fills out the count, 3-2 to Gordon. Leadoff walk, and only the first walk surrendered by Santana. And now Alberto Callaspo. Game 2 about 30 minutes after this game. Bruce Chen for the Royals, Sean O'Sullivan for the Angels, and that game will be in high definition. Callaspo is flied out, grounded out, 0 for 2. Santana trying to avoid here in the bottom of the 6th inning what Sidney Ponson couldn't in the top of the 6th. And that is handed the lead, doesn't want to give it right back. Oh and 1. Into left field, Reggie Willits. 1 down. Alex back to first base. Tomorrow is an Ink College night. It's also 70s retro night. You'll enjoy happy hour specials and Sevia's 70s trivia and disco dancing contests. And more. $5 view infield tickets, a 70s kind of price. That's tomorrow at 7:10. 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com. Often stadium box offices or area Hy-Vee food stores. Sevia's. No idea what that means. You can look it up.
70 yes. 7 of you.
Olivo rolled into a double play in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th. Well, who knows? Maybe Alex is running, but Irvin Santana perhaps not aware that Alex is coming off rather major hip surgery.
Well, I think that's why Jeff Mathis is going out to kind of remind him, look, you know, you need to concentrate on the batter and not the base runner at this point.
Now, Alex, for you, in 06 at Wichita, had 22 stolen bases. He had 14 his rookie year with the Royals, 9 last year, and 1 this year before being injured. Trey Hillman would like to avoid Alex running and sliding and landing heavy on his legs. Not running. Olivo takes a strike, and Mathis throws it down to first. One and 2. That's the thing about baseball, where you see a lot of lower back and hamstring injuries. Is other sports like football, basketball, and hockey, there's constant movement and the legs stay loose. But in baseball, a lot of stationary positioning and then firing and trying to get to 100% speed as quickly as possible.
Well, your outfielders get to run a lot more than the infielders. The infielders take a series of short, choppy steps, where your outfielders take long strides. And you get on base, you may have to run hard to first base, 2 out of 4 times, maybe 3 out of 5 for that night. They can be one of those guys that occasionally may have to steal a base, may have to score occasionally from first to all the way home. But like you say, it's not consistent moving, so the guys really have to keep themselves loose by stretching and re-stretching throughout the game.
Betancourt is singled, flied out, and scored a run. Did that hot dog touch the ball before he ate it? Did you see that? into right center field, but it's slicing, and Abreu runs well, runs it down. Leadoff walk. Royals can't get Alex around. Angels lead by 1. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. 7th inning, 6-5 Angels. Roman Colon recording the final out of the 6th inning, stays on for the 7th. Outside on Kendry Morales, 1 for 3, extending his hitting streak to 19 games. Batting 4th with Mike Napoli and Eric Ibar to follow. So the Royals are going to need some help for the bullpen in this game to stay in there and come back and take the lead. And remember, the bullpen during the Tampa Bay series giving up 9 runs in less than 9 innings, 8 2/3 innings. A little bit outside again. It's 2-1. Ron Mayhay got 2 outs in the 6th inning. Gave up a sac fly that was charged to Ponson. Three and 1. We showed you this at the top of the broadcast in the Tampa Bay series. 6 pitchers, 8 2/3 innings, 8 walks, 9 runs, 8 of them earned. Full count. Bob McClure, on one hand, was happy with the way his starters pitched in the Tampa Bay series, but not the bullpen. And the final result, swept in 3 games. It's a 2-hit game for Morales, who needs to tuck his shirt in. And now Napoli, who tied the game with a home run leading off the 6th.
I'm talking with Bob about that. Basically, he just wants his pitchers to come out and be aggressive. I mean, if you come out and be aggressive, you throw strikes, then you got a chance to get hitters out. If you come out pitching away from contact, getting deep counts, the hitter's always in a hitting count, sooner or later you got to come to him, and that's when you get hurt. So if you don't come to him for a strike, you're going to walk him, and sooner or later you got to come to one of these guys, and that's when you really let the game get away from you. So pitching aggressively is the one thing that he really wants his guys to continue to do.
Napoli, a 2-hit game, 2 runs scored. Also on base with a walk. The Royals have not retired him yet today. It's 2-0. Two and one. Royals baseball brought to you today by Panera Bread. Explore a menu full of hearty soups, hand-tossed salads, inventive sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. Crowd slowly starting to grow for the regularly scheduled game at 7:10. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Actually, not a bad gathering for the first pitch of this game. An unscheduled doubleheader. Nobody knew we were going to have a doubleheader until about 8:30 last night. So 2 games for the price of 1. Morales running, and Tian has it right at the bag, so 1 down. And moving up into scoring position, Morales.
You know, that swing right there could probably make our list, Ryan. This ball backed up right on Napoli. He just didn't quite know how to. That's what it's like. You wait for that breaking ball to go out across the plate, and you commit to it, and all of a sudden the ball backs up into your bat. You just try to survive at that point.
I wish we were keeping track of the swings on the list.
We have that mental list.
The first one that made the list is still the best one. Alexi Ramirez striking out against Gil Mesh on opening day. Ibar perfect today. 2 hits, a walk, 2 runs. And that's into the right field corner. The Angels are going to take a 2-run lead. 3-hit game for Ibar. Drives in Morales. It's 7-5.
Well, Colon left this fastball up out over the plate, and Ibar really jumped on top of it and drove this ball. Yeah, these guys, they're not driving the ball out of the ballpark, but done a great job hitting doubles and getting base hits. And it just doesn't matter how strong the hitter is. You pitch up in the zone, they got a chance to get a base hit off of you.
10 hits for the Angels, 8 singles. Ball 1 on Gary Matthews Jr. has one of the hits, has driven in a run, has scored a run. Angels 3 runs, 4 singles in the second inning. 1 run, 2 singles in the third. They got the home run from Napoli in the 6th. Also a run scored after reaching on a single. And now a single and a double here in the 7th. 1-1 on Matthews. Two and one. You remember 2 off seasons ago, the Royals were in the hunt, no pun intended, for Torrey Hunter when he was a free agent leaving the Twins. And the Angels weren't expected to be in that because they had just signed Gary Matthews Jr. to a big free agent contract the year before after he had a career season with Texas in 2006. They appeared to be loaded in the outfield, but ended up getting Hunter. And now Matthews playing because Hunter's out. Drives in his 2nd run of the game, and the Angels lead by 3.
Well, again, Cologne's having a hard time getting the ball down, Ryan. These balls are up, belt high, out over the plate, and there's 2 straight base hits on the same type pitch.
And up comes Jeff Mathis. Barry Matthews Jr., when he signed with the Angels for the 07 season, was playing with his 9th organization. And that throw gets away from Tien. So no chance for a ground ball and a double play with a double play candidate at the plate. An air charge to Cologne. That could have been an inning-ending double play. Mathis is out, 2 down. Matthews holds at second. And up comes Reggie Willits, who has driven in 2. So a good night on offense for the Angels. And one of those games so far that makes the manager proud because there are so many different contributions. Of the 9 starters in the lineup, 7 out of the 9 have at least a run scored and or an RBI. Bloomquist from center towards right center and makes the catch, but the Angels add 2 more. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals down by 3. Seven hits in 7 innings. Elsewhere, brought to you by Panera Bread. Game 2, Bruce Chen and Sean O'Sullivan. They have rain in New York. Yankees have won 4 in a row to tie the Red Sox. Seattle at Detroit. Seattle's won 3 in a row. Tigers have lost 3 straight. Now just have a 1-game lead over the White Sox. Cleveland at Toronto. Boston at Texas. Texas chasing the Angels in the West. And Tampa Bay is at Chicago. The Rays just 4.5 back in the East. Darren Oliver in the game. Veteran left-hander picking up after Santana goes 6. Gives up 5 runs, struck out 7. One and one on David. .33 games for Oliver. Allows fewer hits than innings pitched. And a very good ERA, 2.88. Falls behind to Jesus, 2-1. David's had a good day. 2 more hits. He's scored twice. He has a stolen base. The only time he has been retired in this game was on a line out to left field. 3-1. When the Royals were in Anaheim back in May, David went 0 for 12. Full count. Darren Oliver, born here in Kansas City. Didn't grow up in Kansas City, but his father, Bob Oliver, was one of the original Royals. Good start to the inning. De Jesus on base for the 3rd time. Oliver not happy with that. And now Willie Bloomquist was 1 for 3 against Santana, a single, and Santana struck him out twice. To the right side, Ibar to second, no chance for a double play as Morales took himself out of the play with a dive. The Angels get the lead runner. De Jesus down, Bloomquist at first.
This Church does a good job here and goes way over. They probably wouldn't have been able to turn this double play anyway because Darren Oliver didn't get off the mound and get over to first base and back this play up. So when the pitchers do that, they probably so focus on throwing a strike to forget what his other responsibilities are. Anytime the ball is hit to the right side, you have to get over to first base. But it's just made a really nice play. He went a long way to his left. He set himself with the idea he was just going to get 1 out. And Ibar did a good job just getting the out and getting out of the way.
One and one to Billy. Billy gave the Royals a brief lead with 1 out back in the 5th inning.
Well, this is Billy's long drive to right field, Ryan. He got a 3-0 count, picked the right pitch, and drove the ball over the right field bullpen.
Royals led 5-4, but the Angels came right back in the 6th to score 2. Now 1 and 2 on Billy. When you swing at a 3-0 pitch, you better make sure you do something with it. And Billy got the green light on that 3-0. And he did something with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get a good pitch. You want to make sure you hit it solid. And that makes it all worth it. So everybody can't hit 3-0. So it's really up to the manager and the hitting coach to know who those players are that you can trust in that situation.
Still 2 and 2. Chance that Billy could see a significant amount of time as the designated hitter with Alex Gordon back and trying to find a spot for Mark Teahan in his glove. And Billy exceeding most expectations at first base this year. Really worked hard at improving not only his glove work and his footwork, but his agility. Lost some weight during the offseason.
Well, it's kind of hard to keep Mark out of the lineup. You know, the 295, 9 homers. You know, he got a big double tonight. So you got to figure out a way to keep that bat in the lineup.
Really not happy about being hit, but that brings the tying run to the plate in Mark Teahan. 2 on, 1 out.
Yeah, no way that's on purpose right there. He's just trying to get inside and get in on his hands. They know he likes to extend his hands and drive the ball the other way. They want to throw the ball in the inside corner. Oliver just got a little bit too far to the inside and hit him in the thigh. But it never feels good.
Mike Butcher, who's originally from the Royals organization, out to visit with Darren Oliver. The Kansas City Royals, the state of Missouri, and Fox Sports Kansas City have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Kevin Jepson, recent call-up. Royals haven't seen him yet, warming up in the bullpen. He might come on to face Jose Guillen. Right now it's Oliver and Teahan. 0-1 to Mark. Doubled leading off the second inning and scored, and then struck out in his next 2 at-bats against Santana. He has faced Darren Oliver 4 times. He has a hit, and Oliver has struck him out 3 times. Hard slider, and it's 0-2. Darren Oliver has played for many teams, one of them the Florida Marlins, and his manager was Jack McKeon, who once managed his father here in Kansas City. Hold to second as Turris again will go for the lead runner. And Ibar trying a little trick there, trying to fool Willie Bloomquist into thinking he was going to throw to first, hoping that Willie would drift off the bag. He did not.
That was a great sleight of hand there. That's you will get someone like that before the year's over. Wait. You just knew this was going to be a tough play at first base. As Turris makes a nice play, nice pivot, and there he goes with the bare hand faking the first, looking to throw the ball to third base. So that's heads up baseball.
Billy was kind of close to the bag with that slide. It'll be Jepson on to face Guillen. StubHub.com is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Kansas City Royals, and you can see just how easy it is to score great seats to any game at StubHub.com. Royals first look at Kevin Jepson, a rookie who has given up 28 hits in 18 innings for a well-fed opponent's batting average of .373. So that's good news for the Royals. As Jose Guillen comes up, representing the tying run. Guillen has driven in 2 with a single back in the 3rd inning. Trying to tie it with that swing, 0-1.
Well, Jefferson, Ryan, he throws up to 95, but he's one of those guys who's got a fastball, curveball, slider, change, and other. So sometimes when you're trying to throw too many pitches, you can see why the opponents might have a high batting average against you.
Into center field and right at Gary Matthews Jr., and that's that in the 7th inning. Royals strand 2, still trail by 3. Jose Guillen has a 2-run single. Billy Butler a 2-run home run. Sidney Ponson pitched into the 6th, coming back from the disabled list, but gave up 6 runs, 8 hits. And now the bullpen, 2 scoreless innings to the 8th. It'll be Jamie Wright to face the top of the order. And this was the inning that turned all the games around in the Tampa Bay series. All 3 games, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Royals took a 1-run lead into the 8th inning. But when they came up in the bottom of the 8th, each time Tampa Bay was in front. Sean Figgins 0 for 4 so far with 2 strikeouts. Up the middle, Callaspo cutting it off. Figgins 0 for 5 and 0 for 15 against the Royals this year. And now Maicer Izturis. 1 for 3, a single, a walk, and a run scored. After the game, Boulevard Royals Live with Joe Goldberg, Jamie Quirk, and Paul Splittor. About 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes in between game 1 and game 2. Again to Callaspo. So Jamie Wright has the sinker sinking. 2 ground balls to the right side. And now Bobby Abreu.
Well, Jamie's pitched a lot in the last 3 or 4 days, Ryan. So maybe that coming back from the break and that arm was a little too strong. Maybe tonight he's right in that right mode that he needs to be in to get that ball to sink. You know, a little on the fatigue side is always better for a good sinker ball.
You're not looking for velocity, you're looking for movement.
Oh, you're looking for his movement. You want the ball to turn over, go down. You want the hitters to beat the ball in front of the plate on the ground and give the infielders a chance to make the play.
Now, guys like Zach Greinke and Kyle Farnsworth and Juan Cruz, you don't want them to be fatigued.
No, you want those are power guys.
No.
you want those guys to stay strong. Yeah, most sinker ballers, when you think about it, they don't strike many guys out. They do induce a lot of ground balls and they keep the ball in play.
Abreu, after 3 tough luck at bats to begin this game, has his first hit, 1 for 5. And the Angels have their 12th hit of the game. Zach watching intently from the Royals dugout over on the first base side. He will not pitch in this series. He'll pitch the opener against Texas. Tomorrow the Angels will send Joe Saunders to the mound, and Zach and Joe Saunders had that great duel in Anaheim, a 1-0 game. Saunders getting his first major league shutout. All Zach gave up was a sac fly to Sean Figgins in an 8-inning complete game. Angels winning 1-0. Morales 2 hits and now is a 19-game hitting streak. "19 games ties him for the 4th longest in the American League this year. Ichiro Suzuki has had a 27-game hitting streak. Scott Rowland, 25 games. That ended this month. Jacoby Ellsbury had a 22-game streak for the Red Sox. Jason Bartlett, we just saw him with Tampa Bay. He had a 19-game hitting streak. The longest in the major leagues this year, Ryan Zimmerman of Washington, had a 30-game streak. Betancourt with a good play, keeping that ball from going into center field. And Bobby Abreu with his 20th stolen base. Now, this stat surprises me. I know he runs well, but that is his 11th consecutive season with at least 20 stolen bases.
Well, he's one of those guys that when you look at him, Ryan, he doesn't look like a guy that will steal bases. He's always been known for power more so than anything else, but this is really his ideal type team to be on.
Abreu's had a couple of years when he was with the Phillies when he had 30 years. He had at least 30 stolen bases and at least 30 home runs. That was in 2001 and 2004.
I mean, he's a guy that runs well, but you wouldn't consider him a burner, you know, by any means. But he must do a great job of reading the pitcher and getting a great jump and just looking at the right type of pitcher on the mound and their speed to the plate. Jamie Wright's got a pretty big high leg kick if you pick the right pitch.
That's Tien's first test over at first, and he handles the hot shot for Morales. Angels scoreless in the 8th. Miguel Olivo. It's a nice crowd, continues to build. It's a T-shirt Tuesday, and there's one of them there worn by that gentleman, a retro T-shirt, 80s style. Kevin Shank, our producer, telling me he doesn't remember that from the 80s, but there's a lot Kevin doesn't remember from the 80s.
I thought the 70s was that year, that decade where you don't remember much.
And then the 80s is when you started coming out of it. Alex is singled and walked, driven in a run. No swing. Todd Tishner down at third base. Kevin Jepson, retired Guillen, to finish off the 7th inning, and now begins the 8th. 2 balls, 1 strike. Angels' 2nd-round draft pick in 2002. Kevin Jepson. He was signed by Todd Blyleven, who is the son of former Angels pitcher and now Twins broadcaster Burt Blyleven. Right side, you could hear Mathis yelling, "Get over there," instructing the pitcher to go over and cover. So 3-1 on the putout. Alex 1 for 3, and now Alberto Callaspo, who is the subject of tonight's Mercedes-Benz E-Class attention assist of the game. This is back in the 3rd.
Well, he does a great job of taking this slow roller. He made a good charge and made a tag on Ibar coming down to second, and then he finishes the play off to first base. I think he was actually called out for going out of the baseline.
Yeah, typically when you're closer to the third base dugout than you are to the baseline, you're out. Most of the time.
Well, he just almost ran across the mound. But
Alberto hitless at the plate. 1-1 from Jepson. Jepson throwing hard, anywhere from 96 to 98. He's had all kinds of arm trouble. Drafted in 02, had elbow and shoulder surgery in 03, and then 2 years later had surgery again on his shoulder. I could see where a right-hander wouldn't want to dig in against him.
Yeah, he's got that good running fastball, and he hides it real well too. And you know, 96 mile ball is pouring in on you. But like I say, guys who throw and got that much run, they might as well throw it at the middle of the plate and let it run to the outer half, and rather than trying to pitch to an outside corner.
95, throws it right by Callaspo, 3-2.
Jeff Mathis is doing a real good job here, right? He's just sitting right in the center of the plate and just letting the ball do what it needs to do rather than trying to pitch to a corner. It'd be nice to see here on 3-2. He just kind of sit there and say, hey, let's throw the ball down the middle of the plate. Let it do what it needs to do and let the hitters hit.
And the hitter chops it up the middle off of his Turris glove. And those guys are so fast with so much range that before you knew it, Ibar was right there and almost had a shot to throw out Callaspo. He'll get an infield single on that play.
Well, that's what you call not giving up on the plate, Ryan. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ibar sometime maybe expected that little ball to be flipped to him coming across the shortstop, but he was right there backing that play up.
There's a bit of a rivalry there, I guess, almost like a sibling rivalry with Ibar and Callaspo. Frank remembers when those two came up together in the Angels organization, and it was thought that they would be the middle infield for years to come. Switch hitters, Ibar the shortstop, Callaspo the second baseman. They were known as Dos Hermanos, which means two brothers, and they spent about 4 years together in the Angels system. Never made it to the big leagues together, as Callaspo was traded to the Diamondbacks, but for a while that was the future for the Angels.
It was looking pretty good too, Ryan, and I tell you what, when Howie Kendrick came along, and I watched him play too, and watched him hit the ball, and he just kind of fell right in the middle of that, and he was an outstanding hitter in the minor leagues. Had a good start in the major leagues, but has struggled a lot this year.
Olivo's had a tough day at the plate. 2 strikeouts, and he's grounded into a double play. Still alive at 1-2. Mike Scioscia not necessarily giving the sign for what pitch, but whether the Angels are going to pitch out or throw over to first. And Olivo has the hat trick. Angels pitchers have struck out 8. Mike Scioscia, one of what seems like thousands of former catchers that end up being major league managers.
You know, they always say one of the toughest things about managing at this level is handling pitching.
Fair ball. Figgins, low throw, handled by Morales. Royals down in the 8th, and we go to the 9th. Still a 3-run Angels lead. With Joel Goldberg, Jamie Quirk, Paul Splittorff. Joel with interviews from the field, and the boys will be up at Rival Sports Bar in right field, brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. Jamie Wright, after a scoreless 8th, will pitch to Mike Napoli, Eric Ibar, and Gary Matthews Jr., who have combined to score 6 runs and drive in 4. The Royals had just taken the lead on a Billy Butler home run in the bottom of the 5th inning, 5-4, but 2 pitches into the 6th, Mike Napoli homer to left against Sidney Ponson. The Angels added another run in that inning, 2 more in the 7th, to build their second 3-run lead of the game. Alex knocking it down, still has some time, and gets Napoli. So a good job of staying with it One out in the ninth.
Yeah, the key here is not to panic right here. Alex does a good job. There's an in-between hop. Does a great job getting his body in front of it, filling the ball with his bare hand and not his glove, and then making a nice throw to first base. So the key here, Ryan, is first you block the ball. Second, you use your bare hand to pick it up. And third, you make a nice throw.
You know, the impressive thing about it, too, especially watching it in slow motion, is not only picking it up with the bare hand, but at the same time getting his feet into throwing position.
Right, because that's a ball he's kind of chasing. The ball's going away, so he's got to get his hands on the outside part of the ball so he can make that turn.
If he grabs it with his bare hand, then gets his feet set, he probably doesn't get the out.
No, it's got to all be at the same time. You just don't want to turn your head too quick and mishandle the baseball. See, once he blocks the ball here, the ball comes right off his shoulder. And so the ball's actually going away from him, but you see him angling the ball. Once he figures he's got the ball beat, now he angles his body, picks the ball up with his bare hand. A lot of infielders get in trouble when they try to reach for the ball with their glove and not their bare hand.
Jamie Wright strikes out Eric Ibar, who thought he made contact, and Ibar and Mike Scioscia think the ball hit the dirt before it went into Olivo's glove. Nope. Well, he may have, Scioscia might have seen the dirt that Olivo flicked when he brought his glove back up.
Yeah, he kind of let his glove go back too far underneath his body here, Ryan. He keeps that hand out front. It looked like he didn't know whether he was going to have to catch that ball or block the ball. So the catcher's mitt got too far back in between the legs. And like you say, once he brought it up to show the umpire, there was some dirt that flew out of the end of the glove.
Strike on Matthews, who has driven in two. In the bottom of the ninth against closer Brian Fuentes, Royals have the top of the order. 0-2. One ball, two strikes on Gary Matthews Jr. Iaspo backhanding, throwing him out, and to the bottom of the ninth we go. DeJesus, Bloomquist, Butler coming up. 29 save. David DeJesus, Willie Bloomquist, and Billy Butler. Fuentes has a save against the Royals. It wasn't an easy save. Last time these two teams met before tonight, Angels were completing a 3-game sweep over the Royals in early May. And Fuentes saving a 4-3 game, but that was a game that Torrey Hunter made that game-saving catch, taking a home run away from Miguel Olivo in the 9th.
He's given up almost a hit an inning, Ryan, at 32 innings pitched, 28 hits, but also has 35 strikeouts.
Throws the first one away. David, 2 hits, 2 runs scored. Two and 0.
Leading off this inning, David, with 3 runs down, Ryan, here's where I would go all the way to 3-2 with this at bat before I swung the bat. I would make him throw me 2 strikes and make me have to swing rather than me wanting to swing.
And it's 3-0. Fuentes went to the All-Star game in his first year as an Angel. He went to the All-Star game 3 times with the Rockies, and he had big shoes to fill, even though he was a successful closer in the National League, taking over for Francisco Rodriguez, who had a major league record 62 saves with the Angels last year, and then signed a big contract with the Mets. 4-pitch walk. David down to first base for the 4th time today.
And Willie Bloomquist really should have the same approach David just had right here, because you all need base runners, and the many you can get without having to swing the bat, the better off you are.
Willie 1 for 4 with a single back in the 3rd inning. That's the first strike thrown by Fuentes. Willie has faced Fuentes twice. 0 for 1 with a walk. One and 1. One ball, 2 strikes. Guys like Fuentes, who isn't quite as extreme as Chad Bradford, who we just saw with the Rays, or Dan Quisenberry, but the lower they go, the less strain you put on the arm, but the more strain you put on the back. And a lot of these guys will have back problems. Just foul. Chad Bradford, back problems, back surgery. Fuentes been on the disabled list a couple of times in his career with back issues.
Well, he doesn't really get down as low. He doesn't extend his arm out as much as those other guys. You can watch his arm. He keeps it real close to his body, and therefore he doesn't get quite as much sink as the other guys, Bradford. And, you know, it's just one of those things, Ryan, where you got to get that extension. You got to get that arm out there.
Popped up as Turris to the outfield. Now Willie is down, 1 on, 1 out. And now Billy Butler hit a 2-run home run back in the 5th inning on a 3-0 pitch. Royals scored 5 in 6 innings against Irvin Santana, but Santana 2 outs away from winning his 3rd game of the year. Pretty healthy swing. It's 0-1. This game has provided more offense than the 3-game series between these two teams in May. The Angels swept the series, outscoring the Royals 8-4. That was 3 games. The Angels hit .209 in the series. The Royals hit .196. So they've combined to score 1 more run in this game alone. Matthews running it down in right center field. So to Jesus with the leadoff walk, still standing at first and 2 down. Royals still need 1 more base runner for a chance. Tian doubled leading off the 2nd inning and scored 1 for 4. De Jesus takes off. That will not be a stolen base. The Angels paying no attention to him. David did steal a base in the 5th. Tian has faced Fuentes twice, 1 for 2 with a triple. Now the Royals down to their last strike. Cloudy, gray. It looked like it was going to rain all day, a continuation of yesterday, but they said the rain was done. And if you look beyond that cloud line there, nothing but blue skies. We're about to see the end of that storm, the end of the gray, and it's supposed to be a beautiful day and night tomorrow. 1-2 on Tian. So we somewhat paid the price for that great weather over the weekend during the Tampa Bay series. Losing 1 to weather. Doubleheader today. Final game of the series tomorrow. The Royals have an off day before a weekend series with Texas. Tian strikes out, and the Angels take game 1. So the Royals at one point erased a 3-run deficit and led by 1 run, but the Angels with 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. And they've won all 4 games against the Royals this year. Santana gets the win. He's 3-5. Sidney Ponson drops to 1-6. Brian